Hi there, I'm Nils, a Belgian acrobat living in the Netherlands. A little something different today. I will be reviewing the Thredz aerial straps, which Thredz was kind enough to send over free of charge. I'll do my absolute best to give an unbiased opinion, but I'm fairly confident I can give an honest review since I've been using a lot of different brands of straps over the past, 10 plus years. I've tried a lot of stuff. And have I tried straps that are as comfortable as these? Yes, I have. Have I tried straps that are comparable in price as these? I have. These are, in my opinion, a very good bang for the buck straps that you can get. They are made in the US, so, let that be a factor that you take into account or not. I've taken the liberty of putting together my swivel setup on these straps already. This is not the subject of today. If you're interested in how I set up my swivels, let me know. I can do a separate video on that. But the meat and potatoes of the video today are these bad boys. They gave me the choice of the color that I wanted, and I chose this nice hunter green. This got, it's got some Tarzan vine vibes going for it. Nice little logo stitched at the top. So let's get these unraveled. I took the 9-foot/3 meter versions because my ceiling is about 7 meters, which is 21, 22 feet if I'm not mistaken. So I can hang fully with these straps fully collapsed. David from Thredz calls these a 3-in-1 strap, which means you can use these either as a regular strap with a keeper, so cinch it up, nice and tight, like a classic strap you would use. But there's also an option you can feed it into the top and you've got a self-choking strap for a safer flight given you do a lot of high flying swinging movements. And the third option is to loop them up so you can use this as a body loop, if that's the kind of act that you do. So yeah, let's start from the bottom up. These loops are more than big enough to get my hand in and out very fast. They're incredibly comfortable, as suede should be. I have used suede straps in the past before from other brands, but they were egregiously expensive. I'm not going to name any names. These are, very competitive in price to other brands that you might consider. So, let that be a factor that you want to take into account. Usually when you get keepers on straps, they're not this tight. And I like keepers that are really, really tight that you kind of have to work for to get on and off. Certain people might not like it. I'm a big fan because this means I can have my hands free and I can be sure that I'm not going to slip out. Obviously, you can swap these out for keepers that you want. David was also kind enough to provide a spare keeper, because these things do get lost if you train with other people, sadly. Oh, right, and David was also kind enough to send over this Thredz bottle. And I'm a sucker for a good bag to put my gear in. So let's get this set up and I can show you, how I use these. There you go, got them all set up. Now this is the classical use with the keepers. So yeah, comfort-wise, they are comparable to velvet straps, but they grip a lot better onto their own material. Whereas with velvet, oftentimes they tend to slip a little bit. And if you do a lot of false grip work or a lot of strength movements and you want these straps to remain in the position that you put them in, because, there's a reason you put them in these positions, these grip really, really well onto their own material. So there's no need to, panic of these coming undone. I mean, my wrists are like not even false gripped and they still grip pretty well. Cotton straps would grip a little more, but cotton straps do a number on your skin and these feel very, very comfortable. Like I said, comparable to velvet, but without the downsides of velvet. So yeah, really, really happy with these. For the past couple of weeks, I've been using these in my conditioning and, trying to get back on track with my act after surgery. And these have been, amazing. If you want to use these with a Chinese wrap, you can do this as well. Let's say you don't have a point that's that mobile, and this is the kind of setup you have. You can't change the heights. You can always do like a Chinese wrap. And again, this grips amazingly. So you can have a lot of pressure on this and it's not gonna slip that easy either. So yeah, then let's get to setup number 2. Setup number 2 is where you loop these straps back up again. You add another set of quick links or carabiners on top to terminate these as loops. Now, I don't use loops that often. It's not my style of performing, but for those that want to, put their leg into it or their entire torso or their entire body, it is very, very comfortable. Again, it's suede. And you can, again, put keepers around each of these to kind of cinch it up if you want to fly it a little higher and safer with these as well. So yeah, if you do a lot of duo stuff, this is a very, very comfortable way of getting into these loops. Is, the suede, it's just really nice. And also just for stretching, it's nice. Stretching out the spine, stretching out the shoulders a little bit. If you do a lot of porting, if other people have to rely on you, you can rely on these straps because they have probably the highest braking strength that I've ever seen on a set of straps. They've got a working load limit of 800 pounds and a MBS of 8,000 pounds, which, granted, might be a little overkill, but, better to be safe than sorry. And then the last setup, let's get that going. There you go, the self-closing loops. You do have to keep in mind, you have to set these up with a dedicated left and right in a similar way that you would lifting straps. So you pull down on these, they're tight, nothing more to it. Yeah, I'm really happy with these. I don't know if I'm gonna be using the self-closing system, if I'm on a contract where the client or the production wants me to fly with choke loops, because there are companies that ask that. I do have that option now. To do it as comfortably as possible. If you are in the market for a new set of straps or you're looking to get into aerial straps training, this is definitely a recommendation. I think they start at $175 for a set of 5-foot straps. So, it's a low bar of entry. And if you don't have a high ceiling, a 5-foot strap is more than enough. If you use code ACRONILS10 at checkout, you can save yourself 10% off. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.